Unmute. Welcome, low ego action heroes. I hope everybody can hear me. Hello, Aitan. Welcome. This is Practicing Critical Thinking for July 21st. I'm worried my microphone is a little low. Let me try turning it up. Oh gosh, it's already pretty turned up, but let's try this. Hello. Hello. I also have a lot of fans and air conditioning on, so let me know if this doesn't sound good and I'll try to turn some things off. But welcome. Every other Friday, we do Practicing Critical Thinking here on the Delta CX channel. If you've been a fan of the Delta CX channel and you feel like we haven't been broadcasting much lately, you're half right. We've moved a lot of our shows to a new YouTube channel as an experiment. So thanks, Mickey. So please make sure you are subscribed to our new channel. You can find it on YouTube as Customer Experience, Customer Centricity. Sure, it's a little bit long. You can find it at youtube.com/@CX-CC. A little soft today. Yeah, I think so too. Let me try turning up the mic again. It's probably the compressor is compressing too much. Let me turn the compressor down. How's that? Better? I'll turn off the compressor. Oh, probably a noise gate. No, I don't have the noise gate on. Well, I don't want to shout. Let's see. This should be better. Anyway, thanks for your patience with things. So anyway, we've got things that you've sent in from the Critical Thinking universe, and you can send it in for the show at deltacx.com/links. That's where everything is related to the show. And let's see, what else can we talk about? As always, we want to thank everybody donating to either of our channels or the program in general, past, present, and future. Thanks to everybody who's thrown a few dollars per month at me to help keep me in streaming software and chocolate chips. Okay, so let's jump right in since we are now doing shorter shows, even though shorter shows are really more in the other channel. But again, make sure you are subscribed to the new channel, Customer Experience, Customer Centricity. Most of our shows are there. We did not go off the air. We moved the shows. All right, I'm going to press this button, and I think that should show you, yes, here's me and the aggregated chat and my screen. And we've got a lovely message from Chi Watt, who says, the author predicts that the name of the new app by Meta, Threads, will sound like threats in some countries. She says the name was ill-considered because of the th sound in Threads, and that it represents an Anglo-centric view. I believe the brand name creators focused on the meaning of the word and not the pronunciation. The irony is that she takes an Anglo-centric view in thinking that non-English speakers can detect the difference in meaning between threads and threats. I know from experience here in Singapore that we understand contextually when someone says tree to mean three, and life goes on. Hi, Malika. All right, so let's take a look at the article Chi Watt is talking about, or in this case, it's a LinkedIn post from someone I don't know. Interesting enough, I'm not sure how to pronounce this person's name. It looks Hebrew or Israeli to me, so I'm guessing. I have no idea. So it seems a little bit oops that I'm not sure how to pronounce their name. And I wonder if we go to their page, did they include a recording of how to pronounce it? No. But they are in Israel. Okay, so I'm right there. So I'm going to do my best to give this person an Israeli pronunciation, even though I'm not Israeli. And I'm going to say this person is Michal. So Michal says, let's talk about threads, or more accurately, the TH sound in threads. Did you know it's quite rare? According to the WALS, and I'm not sure who that is, the TH sound is only used in 40 locations worldwide. Out of the 567 mapped ones, you can see them here as red circles. This means that when Meta launched Threads, they created a monster, a new app that will be called something a little bit different in every language. Do you think it's Anglocentrism, or they simply didn't mind? My guess, they didn't have time to consider this. Someone at the top saw Twitter's decline and had them put together a quick alternative to fill that vacuum. All right, so you are in the critical thinking stream with me, which means we welcome audience participation, both live and afterwards when you're watching the video. So what do you think? Also, total side note, do you think this show should be on the new channel or stay on the old channel? I'm curious about what you think there too. Okay, so let's talk about the TH sound. It is in some languages around the world, certainly not all. It enters into English, I believe, and I'm not an expert in this, but I believe it enters into English from Old Norse, where we had the th and the th as two different sounds. And you hear them both in English. You hear the soft TH, Thursday, and you hear the harder one for words like those and them. These sounds can be difficult or uncomfortable for people around the world to make. I recognize that. But the way I see this is that they decided to name this something in English, which means they're going to use an English word. That was an impressive Michal. Well, why shouldn't it be? Thank you. I think we could say the same thing for something like Twitter. There's a lot of countries in which a W has an U sound or a V sound. So does that mean in some countries they're saying Twitter? And is there anything wrong with that? So I think that wherever possible, branding and marketing teams should do research to learn about what words will sound like in other countries and continents, certainly outside of your language family, so not just in Romance languages, but outside those to non-Romance languages. And so I do always think it's better to take that into consideration, and you can decide whether or not you're concerned about pronunciation, or does a mispronunciation in English end up meaning something in another language that could be offensive or laughable or silly. Again, that's up to a branding and marketing team to make that call. I don't think that Threads is a monster for its name. I think it's probably a monster for its policies, but that's another story. Aitan says, I know in Turkey they pronounce it as Twitter, and that's fine. Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of countries that will have difficulty landing on an R. I know in Italy that's something that both my husband and my Italian teacher have said, gee, words like murder and slaughter, which all happen to be violent, but they're hard. The hard R at the end without some of that Romance language flow is difficult to pronounce. So it might be hard for people to say Twitter and land on that R. Drew says WALS is probably World Atlas of Language Structures. Hey, that's the best piece of information we've got. Thank you. So ultimately, I think that while it's an interesting question, and we should be mindful about how company names and product names look and sound around the world, that would be hopefully caring about diversity, inclusion, regionalization, international stuff. I still don't think Thread's biggest problem is a Norse TH sound. And I think that if we're naming something in English, then we're probably going to pick words that exist in English. I'm always a little bit surprised when companies, it's funny, I see so many Israeli companies, not all of them, of course, but many of them will name their company a Hebrew word spelled out in some English way, what we typically call transliteration. And there's a really good chance that most people are not going to pronounce that right. Like, I think of the story of someone many, many years ago, a friend of the family, their son was starting college, and they were Israeli, and their last name was Chen, and it was spelled CH, which is often how the Ch sound in Hebrew is transliterated into Latin characters, CHEN. And so they found that the school automatically organized them into Asian and Asian American clubs and things because they saw Chen, which can be a common Chinese or Chinese descended surname. So, no matter where we are, from where we stand, it looks pretty good. And then from someone else's perspective, it's not going to be good. And the best that we can do is try to take as many of those perspectives as possible. Aitan says, yeah, what about all the Italian fashion companies? We butcher those names. Yeah, for sure. I've had to learn a lot about words. Like here, even zucchini isn't zucchini. So it's zucchina is one, and zucchine with an E is plural. There is no zucchini with an I on the end. So whatever. Malika says, I guess they just didn't think about it, because in Thai you could pronounce it as Ted or tread. So yeah, so great conversation in the chat, everybody. And don't forget to subscribe here and on our new channel, Customer Experience, Customer Centricity. It's a little long, but hopefully unique enough that you'll find it on YouTube. So what can I say to Michal other than there's a good point somewhere in here, but ultimately we can say it's Anglocentrism. But if an Israeli company gives their company a Hebrew name spelled in Latin characters, is that Israeli centrism, and is that wrong? So I think there's lots of good perspectives here. Yeah, what about croissant, which I think is in like every Instagram thing. All right, thanks, Chiwa. You found a really interesting post that certainly made us think. Here is another LinkedIn post, and this was sent in a few weeks ago. We do this show every other week, so sorry about that. This one says, too many people overcomplicate UX design. Now, of course, immediately that strikes me as a really broad generalization. It's like a broad generalization that is about a broad generalization, so it undoes itself a little bit. Oh, Chiwat says, in Indonesia, there's a conglomerate that has a subsidiary called PT Semen, which is Indonesian spelling for cement. Sure, maybe it's semen or something, but yes, that's right. That does look a little bit strange. While on our vacation recently, my husband and I made endless jokes because we found an Italian restaurant, probably named after someone's last name, but it was Trattoria Pinos. And you can imagine the jokes that came from that, but at the same time, that's someone's last name. So, probably related to pine trees. So, we're just being goofy. Okay, this one says, usually UX designers aim to do 3 things successfully. 1, talking to users to uncover what problems they experience, how they experience them, and why they experience them. 2, designing a solution that solves this problem and aligns with how they want to use it. 3, testing a solution with users to see if the solution actually solves the problem and if they want to use it. Repeat the cycle over and over. No need to overcomplicate anything. Good explanations are simple. And I think that I just laughed out loud and woke my mom up. Sorry, Chiwat's mom, go back to sleep. You need your rest. Sorry about that. But yes, there are many... I can't even say the jokes. I'm going to get, I would say demonetized, but I barely make any money on this. Anyway, looking at this current thing, I think that while staying away from overcomplicating things and shifting towards simplicity sometimes sounds attractive, I think the problem here is I don't know what this guy's really saying. It's too simple. You can't boil good UX work down to 3 easy steps, because each of those steps has like a million sub-steps. Talking to users. Well, holy cats, that's got a whole billion steps. Let's see if my stuff works. Did that come up? Let's see. Yes. Okay, great. My graphics are working. Yeah, we've got... Do we have double? No, okay, there we go. Hey, there's a whole bunch of things going on in order to talk to users well. There's research rigor, uncovering what problems people experience. Okay, that's probably more from observational research, which wasn't even mentioned here. Designing a solution. Holy cats, there's so many steps and phases and things that we do to design a good solution. There's aspects of information architecture, interaction design, psychology, behavioral sciences. While I don't want complexity, I'm always worried about oversimplifying UX, which often dumps us in it's so simple anybody can do this. Anybody can talk to users. Anybody can design a solution that aligns with people. Hey, just test it. So my concern is that we oversimplify UX, and I think we should be talking about its complexity more, that it has rigor, it has phases, it has tasks, human-centered design has ISO standards. I don't want to oversimplify that, because I think it leads to that slippery slope of, this is so easy, everybody can do it. All right, let's move on. Reject. Luckily, I'm in Europe, so I can reject cookies. This is a very recent article from Measuring You. Do click tests predict clicks on product pages? How predictive are click tests? Does the first click on an image really predict what would happen on a fully functioning website? Okay, so for those of you not familiar with first click tests, it's a method, it is a research method where we usually show people a wireframe or comp or mock-up, something that isn't interactive, and we give them a task, and we just try to figure out what's the first thing they're going to click on to see if they would even be going in the right direction and choosing the right thing in the navigation or choosing the right choice on the page, things like that. And the idea is that if they choose the right thing, then we've hopefully built something intuitive and they're going in the right direction. I10 says, these people are PhDs. I assume they know what they're talking about. Okay, but who knows? Let's see. We found that the primary, probably only source that established the link between the first click and ultimate task success wasn't on images, but was on live websites. And I think that's interesting because it would be very hard to really test a task just by its first click. I mean, let's think about it. I think that sounds logical. I think that can pass our meaningful and helpful test. Is it actionable? Not totally yet, but I think that makes sense. In that same article, we studied 5 homepages. We found good corroboration between images and live websites. Across hotspot regions, the absolute difference was only about 6%. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what are they saying? We recruited participants from a US-based panel. Participants were randomly assigned to one of 6 conditions, one of 3 websites, and either the live website or an image of the live website. Participants were asked to complete the same task to find a laptop. We wanted to limit participants from searching on the live website condition. We asked them not to use search. Okay, imagine you're looking to purchase a new laptop. How would you find a laptop with a 15-inch screen under $1,000? Don't use the search bar. Image. Imagine you're looking to purchase a new laptop computer. Where would you click? Now, first of all, why are these different? Does that change the study? Does it bias the study? I don't know. I think it's worth the critical thinking question. Why weren't both groups given the same question? I mean, if it's just an image and it's not a live website, can't we give them the same task and just say, you are looking at a mock-up and not a live website, but, start your task. Something like that. Aitan, what do you think? Study results. Removing people who dropped out, we had data from 306 participants. Okay, we don't know a lot about their recruiting, so I don't know how much they screened for people who were savvy about online shopping for laptops versus people who had not previously shopped for online laptops. Aitan says, I think they're different because in the second case, users know it's not a real website. They might be confused. Same thing happens to my users when I show them a screenshot instead of a clickable prototype. Okay. Median study time. I don't think that necessarily helps us. Participant rates. We identified similar hotspot regions. I think the hard thing about this for me, that the thing that's just not getting me jazzed is that so many of these computer buying websites have pretty clear navigation items that say shop for a computer or buy a laptop. Like, I would think that this would be pretty... I mean, here they're talking about all the clicks and stuff that people did, but that's not first click testing anymore, but they're trying to see where did they go from there. So ultimately, let's get to their results. Live site 4%, images 0%, live site... Oh wait, how did they get to this page? Did we start them on this page? And if we started them on this page, isn't that already answering the question? Like, shouldn't you drop them on the home page and see if they get to the advanced search page? Somebody help me out here. I'm finding that something about this is not sitting right with me, and maybe I don't know what it is. Like, if this is first click, then this page is not your first click. First click is going to be where they go from a home page or a landing page. i10 says they probably started on the home page. I don't know. But then if you started with the home page, how did people get to this page? Is it that you have wireframes or screenshots or something, and when they said, I would click on thing, then they ended up here? I feel like I'm missing information, and it's making it hard for me to really get drawn in by this. And am I seeing correctly that they're using an accessibility overlay? What? This is also the same type of page. Or is the study not home pages? Because they said home pages, but they're clearly not on anybody's home page. They're on advanced search pages. So these aren't first clicks. They're just not. This is second click at best. Or where your first click lands you. But they're acting like everybody started here. I don't get it. I'm just going to walk away. I don't get it. I have to tell you, every time I see something on Measuring You, something really turns me off. And I have trouble putting my finger on it. You know, I'm not an academic. I don't have a PhD. I don't know about chi-squared. I don't. But something just doesn't seem right here. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me what I'm getting wrong. It must be me, right? Okay. Someone sent in an NNG article from about a week ago that says AI improves employee productivity by 66%. Okay, so my first question is, what types of employees, what types of tasks, and how did we measure this? So let's see what they've got. 3 case studies. Yeah, Malika says so many questions. I agree. So 3 case studies. You know, again, I don't know about academic rigor. It seems a little light, but how many people, depends how many people were involved in these. Let's see. We have quantitative data about the usability of generative AI systems like ChatGPT for business tasks. Productivity increased significantly, with the biggest gains for the least skilled users. Some studies found improvement in quality of the work products. Okay, so then we have grumpy text here, which seems to be gaslighting people who have negative opinions on AI. Fuck you very much. Let's see. So they've got 3. Oh, go find my findings in 3 other articles. Hello. Why are you telling me to go find a thing? Just tell me the thing. Customer service agents resolving customer inquiries. Okay, maybe using internal AI systems to more quickly find an answer. Sure, that sounds like something that could increase productivity. Experienced business professionals writing business documents. Sure, I've heard some good things about ChatGPT and the like, doing a good job writing documents for people or cleaning up their documents. The downside is it might remove some of your voice and make you a little bit more generic, but sure, sounds like there are improvements there. Programmers coding a small software project that took 3 hours to complete without AI assistance. Okay. Productivity findings. Support agents who used AI, which again, we don't totally know what that means yet, which doesn't sound like they were replaced by AI. It sounds like they had some sort of well-created AI system where this was going to help them find answers for the people they're talking to. They could handle 13.8 more customer inquiries per hour. All right. Someone join me on this one. Okay, they are getting more done, but I always want these time on task and the number of things that got done. I always want these kind of cross-referenced with things like errors. Number and severity of errors. Okay, they handled 13.8 more customer inquiries per hour. That sounds like they're more productive, but where's the measure of quality? Did they see higher feedback? A lot of times after you deal with a company's customer support, you get a phone, stay on the phone to rate this person, or an email survey, or, something like that. I want to know not just that people did more stuff. I want to know that they did it better with fewer mistakes. I want to know that they did more stuff, but with happier customers. So I don't love the isolated metric of they did more stuff. Business professionals wrote more business documents per hour. Right, but do they suck? We certainly have the story of the lawyer who had ChatGPT write some of his brief, and ChatGPT made up stuff that didn't exist, and the lawyer got in big trouble. Okay, you can do more stuff per hour, but are you maintaining or improving your quality? We can always do more, and we can always do things faster, but are we really doing things better? And what are the real outcomes of this change in speed? This looks like a long article. I hope we get there. Programmers who used AI could code 126% more projects per week. So we have to think about what these numbers really mean, because at first they're a little deceptive. 59% more business documents per hour. So instead of one document in an hour, you wrote 1.5. All right. So now they're just showing that as a graph. So what? Is this a big deal? The value created by a worker per hour. Yeah, that's a good question. Did we really measure value, or did we just measure what we might call productivity? Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, we're on a completely new internet company today. Please let me know. I'm not watching. Please let me know if I'm having any blips or dropouts. Please let me know how the quality is. The speeds look really good, but we have a 30-day trial with this company, and we'd love to hear from you how my internet is working, because we bought it for you. Okay. So there's a lot of cloudy blah, blah, blah here. Oh, if a worker creates more value, standards of living will improve. And it's like, well, hold on. This is slippery slope, and these are some leaps here. So look, we can always say this is faster. Where's quality? Does the word quality appear here? Users were measured always for task time and sometimes for quality. Okay, so looks like down here the word quality appears a lot. Let's scroll down. Quality improvements. Let's see. Efficiency is nice, but does us no good if the bigger picture... Now notice how far down this is in the article. We had to pass all of this stuff to get to quality. We had to pass about how we're going to really improve human quality of life. Now let's take a look at quality. The quality of the output produced with AI assistance is better than produced without it, at least in studies 1 and 2. Study 3 of programmers didn't judge the code quality. Now that's strange, because certainly good developers will be able to judge code quality. They'll be able to say, AI wrote good code, AI wrote not good code. This is knowable, so I'm not too sure why this wasn't. To me, this seems like an absolute must from the study, but let's take a look. In study 1, the AI using agents' work quality improved by 1.3%. Critical thinking hats on, everybody. Let's get mine. Okay, critical thinking hat on. How was that measured? Customers gave identical subjective satisfaction scores. So it sounds like there was a roughly just over 1% lift in a satisfaction score. So I guess hypothetically, if you were getting a score of 4.2 on average out of 10, now you're getting 4.3, right? Wouldn't that be a 1-ish% improvement? That's something. I don't want to say it's nothing. That may or may not be good, and it may or may not be enough. Chiwat says, I use ChatGPT and Bard to evaluate my tone in writing as I'm blunt. I spend more time from doing this, but I do it because it's reassuring. Not sure if it helps. Yeah, I use Grammarly for that. Grammarly helps me with that. Hashtag not sponsored. Okay, so satisfaction scores went up by 1.3%. Again, this is pretty small, I think. It's not a significant number, but it is something, and I think it can warrant more study because I wish we knew a lot more. There's more variables in here. What types of problems were these? Who are the agents? So there's some variance in here. AI assistants didn't hurt work quality and might have slightly improved it. Okay, maybe, sure. Study 2, writing business documents, work quality shot through the roof. When business professionals compose their documents with help from ChatGPT, on a 1 to 7 scale, the document's average quality rating was 4.5 with AI versus 3.8 without AI. The difference was statistically significant. Hold on, let's think about these numbers. If it's a 1 to 7 scale, then kind of a really mediocre kind of number would be 3.5, possibly. That's your middle point. So with AI, it was 3.8. And, but there's something missing here. And I think we're getting a hint of it here. Self-reported data. It says the quality improvement is likely to stem from the fact that they spent much less time producing the first draft and more time editing it, making it more polished. The big key here is self-reported. I think with how hot AI is right now, and given all of the bizarre ad hominem and gaslighting that we're hearing out here, it is extremely unpopular right now to say, hey, I tried AI and it really didn't help me. Or I tried AI and it didn't really make a significant difference. Or I tried AI and I think it made things worse. I've been attacked. Other people have been attacked. Dr. Nick's been attacked. So I wonder, and again, this is just critical thinking. I don't know anything about this study and I wasn't part of it, but we are asking people to self-report, and I can't help but wonder if people's excitement about AI or pleasure at feeling more productive made them feel like the document quality was better, because it doesn't sound like we asked anybody else to judge. Like, we didn't ask their manager if their documents are better than they used to be. Maybe they're not. Maybe they took ChatGPT and edited it back to whatever they would have done. But we have to be careful of some of this self-reported data. So ultimately, I think that this is an interesting study. I think it has some concerning flaws, and I think it has some conclusions that I wouldn't have been comfortable giving. I don't think I would have been comfortable coming to these conclusions because I would have been too concerned about the validity of self-reported data of improvement. So I'm not feeling it, but good luck to them. I sure hope they keep trying and maybe improve some of their research rigor. All right, here's our last one. Someone sent me Maze's new, I guess, white paper report. The new research landscape, how to progress your organization toward higher research maturity, achieve superior business results with data and expert insights from 500 professionals. Okay, so chances are, if it asks me for personal data, I'm not downloading it. Take a look. So this tells me that this is just a marketing adventure, and I'm not going to give them my information. I don't agree to their privacy policy. So that's that. I'm not going to download and read this report. If you would like me to go into the report in more detail, you can please download it and email it to me, or Slack or Discord it to me. Mickey says, I used Grammarly Go for shaping some draft customer-facing content, but I'm not fully satisfied and still need a professional copywriter due to the niche of my field and topic. Absolutely great point, Mickey. There's nothing wrong with trying out these systems to see if we feel like they are helping us or giving us some sort of edge. And then if we feel like they're not working, we walk away. It's really okay to walk away. Karen says, hello friends, I'm a little late to the conversation. Can you please explain what's wrong with the accessibility overlay on the website? I just saw your reaction. Chiwat says 500 PhDs, what a bargain. Yes, I only have to give away my personal information. Karen, this is kind of Googleable, but I'll give you the short version. Accessibility overlays are not a replacement for making a website truly accessible natively in the design, in the code, in the technology. The accessibility overlay tries to kind of put a band-aid on common accessibility problems and kind of sprinkle on some accessibility. And these are often disliked, not always, but often rejected and disliked by people with the actual disabilities, because sometimes these overlays make things difficult for them based on the devices and software that they use for their accessibility needs. So it might interfere with a screen reader, it might interfere with an input device, etc. Melanie says the NNG article said the quality improvement was likely to stem from the perception that it took them less time to create, not the quality of the business documents had improved. Exactly. So they self-reported as the quality improved, but in reality, their positive feelings about their work improved. And I think it would be fair to report that, but I don't think we can say the quality of the documents improved unless we had a more neutral person reviewing previous documents and new documents. Drew says when bionic reading is studied, it's only marginally better than non. Is overlay the same as a modal? Depends. In the case of accessibility overlays, they're not modals. They really are an overlay. They just kind of try to overlay some accessibility features onto a website that otherwise isn't accessible. Okay, so let's see. 3% have reached the highest stage of research maturity. Okay, so this is their model of maturity. Limited research, sporadic research, developing research, systematic research, and strategic research. And again, they say you can check out our full model in some other article. That's where people claim to be. Most people seem to be saying we're getting better. Yeah, Drew says they often make things worse. Next time you see an overlay, try tabbing through the site. Great suggestion. Steph says late to the party. Hope everyone's doing good. Yep, I hope so too. Survey in numbers. Okay, so this was a survey, and this is where it's from. So it is fairly global. Obviously, not all countries are represented. Some people are represented from some countries, but there is a noticeable lack of participation from areas we might say are Africa, Middle East, or Western Europe, and Asia. This could be due to language. They probably ran the survey in English, so there you go. Let's try to get to the good stuff. What sets a research mature organization apart? They have better business outcomes. Super. They're more, now, I don't know how they determined this. I assume the long version of the report tells us this, but I'm not downloading it, so I don't know. 1.8x more likely to conduct research frequently. Again, frequency sounds good, but is it good research? Is it the right research? Who's doing the research? What do we do with the insights? So again, we want to keep that critical thinking hat on, because yes, more research sounds good. But if more research is, hey, 1.8x more product managers are calling customers up and asking them what they want, I'm a little bit nervous at that. 5.1x more likely to conduct generative research. Again, I would love to see how they define that, since I've seen generative research defined a lot of ways. I've seen generative or discovery research defined as we have an idea and we just want to see if people like it before we start building it. That's not really the best approach to generative research. So to me, we need some of these terms defined. The numbers look interesting. The numbers feel compelling, but I don't really know what we're saying here. Research maturity model, people, process, impact. Sure, and here we have a bunch of triangles within triangles that have colored triangles in different shades of triangles, and I don't know what this means. And the call to action is just download our full report, so whatever. But I think we can at least somewhat agree that the quality of research and the maturity is going to be about who's doing it, making sure that there's buy-in and support and budget for it, making sure we have good processes, and making sure that this ultimately has impact. You know, the companies that say they're doing research, but the designers are already designing and the developers are already building, that research is unlikely to have impact. Everybody's already off and running, doing their own thing. Limited. Research is only used to monitor and optimize products after they've been released. And again, in many companies where I've seen, we call this research, but very often it's just some A/B testing, or the research is checking some metrics or analytics. So I think this is the kind of report where I hope at each step they are really defining what they mean by research, and if they have a sense of what's good research versus what's bad research. Because the problem here might not just be that research is not used often, because it looks like some of their model here is about frequency. But what type of research is being used? If the company is only using surveys and A/B tests, even if they do those daily, that might feel higher than limited, higher maturity than limited, but it might still be some pretty bad research. This appears to be, yeah, so this has a lot of similarities with things like the NNG model of UX maturity. They've just brought this into research. I think it's interesting. Take a quiz on your organization's research maturity level. Who wants to guess whether or not this is going to ask me at the beginning or at the end for my personal information? They will ask me. I'm pretty confident of that. I'm guessing. Will it be at the beginning or the end? Take the quiz. Take the research maturity quiz. Take the quiz. Okay. Does your organization hire, or has it hired, dedicated UX researchers? Yes. Does your organization hire, or has it hired, dedicated research operations managers? Okay, so I'm thinking about a company I worked with last year. They were a $1 billion company, and they had 4 researchers that were employees and 3 or 4 that were on contract. They had 1 research ops person. So let's say yes. Does your organization have someone that represents research at a leadership level? They did, but I don't think they were taken seriously or listened to, and I think they were badly overpowered by leaders in product. But the question is, does that person exist? And the answer was yes. Please select how much you agree or disagree with the following statements. Our executives understand what value research brings to the organization's customer visions and strategy. I think last year the company really didn't get that. I think hopefully they're better now, but at the time they seemed to mostly think a fast survey and a product manager asking people what they want is good enough. So I'm going to go with disagree, but they would have said agree, because they would have thought they're doing a great job on research. I'm looking at it another way, and I'm saying no. Our organization provides individuals with training and education programs on research methodologies. So this to me sounds like democratization. So does that mean doing this is good or doing this is bad? Many of us don't want research, quote unquote, democratized, as I call it, diluted. So is this good or bad? I don't know. Our product teams are actively involved in the research process, so design, product management, engineering. And again, what does actively involved mean? There's even, I guess this red star is a mandatory question. But what does actively involved mean? We collaborate with them at the right points, or we let them do the research. I don't know what this means. So, and what's the difference between somewhat disagree and somewhat agree? Why is this a 6-level Likert scale? Our non-product teams are involved in, again, in what way? I don't want them to do the interviews, but I want to collaborate with them. So I don't know. I don't even understand this question. Our organization has well-established process and frameworks to regularly collect and consume research. Okay, they did have good process. I don't know how many questions this is. Oh, 56%. Our organization has well-established processes for collecting and synthesizing data across research. No, they didn't. There were silos there. Our entire organization leverages research in their work. No. Organization monitors passive sources of information. Yes, they did do that. Our organization conducts research to validate potential solutions and inform direction. Yes, though not the way I would have wanted it. They did a lot of bad A/B testing. So again, this is so subjective. If your organization does a monster amount of A/B testing, you might say strongly agree there. But if I'm looking for higher quality research, I'm going to say, oh, not really. So this really depends on who's taken the survey. This is, again, self-reporting. Our organization conducts research to discover new and unmet customer needs. No, they didn't do that enough. Our organization conducts research to inform business strategic decisions and bets. No. Our research projects have predefined goals that evaluate and determine their success. Sometimes. And now give us your information so we can tell you how you did on the quiz. Another giant middle finger. So again, I always feel like if I had less ethics, is that the right word? I would just make white papers all day long and collect everybody's information and spam them and have my sales team call them and you know, maybe that would make me a lot more money than I'm making now, but I just can't do it. I can't do it. That doesn't match my definition of ethics or good customer relations. So no, I can't do it. I get the feeling I'm missing messages. Oh, here they come. Hi, Linda. Seems like this survey should be an interview to gather better data. Yeah, and clarification of the question wording. Yeah, it definitely is up for a lot of room there because, again, someone might say, sure, we run A/B tests constantly, so we are strongly agree all over research. We are great. So people might be self-assessing as better than they are, but then the question is, what does better mean? Chihuat says, so many questions. This is not a quiz. It's a test for a PhD. Yeah, and I feel like we really didn't learn a lot of actionable things. We still don't know so much. Well, anyway, that is it for practicing critical thinking. Let's take a look at the calendar and see what's coming up. Remember that most of our shows are now on the new channel, Customer Experience, Customer Centricity. So find us on LinkedIn there and please subscribe. It's CX-CC. And Monday, we'll be doing a CX audit, which is a new show we've started doing on the other channel to replace some of the thinking out loud. And we are going to take a look at the CX of Google Bard. So come with your Google Bard questions. Tuesday the 25th will be Office Hours Ask Me Anything. John N.A. Brown can't make it, so we'll be on the other channel doing Office Hours Ask Me Anything, now called Q&A AMA. You can ask your questions ahead of time at goodoldeltacx.com/links. I will collect your questions and answer them then. And then the rest of the week, there won't be any other broadcasts because I am doing 2 space workshops. If you want to sign up for strategizing products and customer experiences, you still have a few more days. It's only 99 American dollars for a 3 half-day workshop live with me. And we still have room in both of the 2 sessions that I'm doing next week. So you can find that at cxcc.to/space, SPACE. So I'm going to run because I have my Italian lesson coming up, but thanks to everybody who joined us live from LinkedIn and YouTube and possibly Twitch. Again, come on over to the new channel and tell friends about it. It's got new shows, new formats, new shorts, new stuff, and we're just trying it out as an experiment. And again, new internet connection. So let me know how my internet was. Let me know if there were any blips or dropouts or things like that. I need your feedback because I can't tell. So let me know. Thanks to everybody for a great show, and have a super weekend, and I'll see you Monday over on CX-CC. Thanks. Bye. Customer centricity as business intelligence. Visit deltacx.com to learn why we are